There's been such amazing news out for those businesses in the hospitality industry that had business interruption insurance. They're going to get a relief payment from the big insurance companies. So just to put this in a little bit, if you're not familiar with this debate that's been going on, many hotels, restaurants, for example, took out something called business interruption insurance. And one of the clauses in there said that if they were closed due to a contagious disease, they would be paid out a certain amount, whatever they insured. So, for example, they may say, listen, I would lose 100,000 Rand a month. I want to be paid out for as long as I've been closed. National lockdown comes, shuts down all these businesses. And the insurers say, no, you were closed down because of national lockdown, not because of a contagious disease. Contagious disease would be if a staff member got COVID or one of your guests got COVID and you had to close down for a period of time. And this is a debate that's been going on and is actually going through the courts at the moment. And the problem is that whilst this is going through the courts, even if these businesses win in the end, they're decimated. Especially hotels that can still not open now. They are absolutely decimated. So waiting for an outcome in the courts has been obviously a major issue. So an agreement was reached on Friday between the financial sector or regulators and the industry that the insurers are going to pay out a relief payment. It's very important to understand that they still say that this is not a claim. They still argue that this is not a claim. But they recognize that if they don't do something, these businesses are no longer going to exist. So Santam, for example, is going to be paying out R1 billion. They're going to be paying out 70% of the insured amount for 2 months. So in that example of 100,000 Rand turnover or income that's been insured, they would pay out 70,000 Rand for 2 months or 140,000 Rand. Guard Risk has said that they will pay out 3 months, but they will deduct running expenses that perhaps were saved, such as electricity and water for not being opened, and any relief that the business may have got from things like UIF. So you basically, if you are affected, you need to contact your broker and find out exactly what your payment will be. It's important to note that because this was not a claim, if the courts rule, eventually when they do rule, if they rule in the favor of the insurer and they say, no, we agree with the insurer's interpretation of this clause, they will not, the businesses will not have to pay that money back. It is a relief payment, it is a donation, it is not a claim. So this is a really win-win for many restaurants and guest houses out there, because they know that this money is coming and it's theirs to be able to stay open, or at least be able to keep their staff paid and their running costs covered. If the courts rule in the favor of the policyholders, then the insurers will obviously pay out the difference between this relief package and the full claim. I just want to make a final comment on this. I've been covering the story for quite some time now, specifically within City Press. I've listened to both sides. I have heard the arguments. I completely and utterly understand the position of all those people who've been paying insurance and believing that they're covered. But I also understand from an insurer's perspective the importance of legal clarity, because it affects all their other policies in its entirety. And the fact that people are often saying, oh, they're not paying out because they're worried about profits, they are paying these claims from their profits, not from their claims book, which would actually be better for shareholders and investors in those companies. So I don't think this is an argument about profits. I do think that there is a real legal precedent that needs to be set here and needs to be clarified by the courts. But I am so glad for all of those businesses that they're going to be getting a payout, because this is an industry that has been decimated by the national lockdown and has had absolutely no relief from government. So thumbs up. I'm really thrilled, and I hope if you're watching this video and you've been affected that you please share your experience with me in the claims process. Apparently the payments should start as early as next week.